Hi everyone. Today I'll be interviewing Anjali. So Anjali, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, Nidhi. Thank you for having me here. So, I'm Anjali. I'm a final year computer science student studying at BMS College of Engineering here in Bangalore. So, I'm placed at one of the best consulting firm out there, that's McKinsey and Company. So, I got my internship opportunity, and as well as I'm placed there.
Amazing. So when did McKinsey come to campus, Anjali?
Okay, so McKinsey had come to our college in February 2020 when I was still in my third year. So, yeah, so it came during February month.
Understood. Was it like full campus hiring or was it only for BMSC students? Was it like women only for women?
Yeah, so this time McKinsey had come just for women candidates, like it was just for restricted to female students, and CSC, IT, and EC departments were allowed to participate in the drive.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So was this the first company to come on campus because you said it was around the month of February,
February.
March, or were
Yeah,
there
it was the
Hmm.
no, it was the first company that had come to our college for 2021 graduates.
Okay, okay, okay. So no company came before that even for
No,
internships, is it? Or
like for summer internships after third year, companies had come, but other than that, no other companies had come.
okay, so which were the companies that came for summer internship?
It was Goldman Sachs was there, Akamai was there, and Endurance had come.
Okay, we can go to that later. Let's understand how your interview process was. So how many, okay, which were the departments that were allowed to sit for the interview?
Yeah, so it was just CSC, ISC, and EC departments.
Okay, got it. And how many rounds? Can you elaborate on the interview process?
Yeah, sure. So we had 6 rounds throughout the process. So it was a bit long interview process, but the first round being the normal coding round, it was conducted on HackerRank platform. So we were given 3 questions, which were of lead code, medium, and hard questions. So the questions were basically implemented using stacks, graph, and dynamic programming.
Mm-hmm.
So, like 2 questions were kind of easy, the graphs and stack problem, but the graph one was a bit difficult where we didn't pass all the test cases, but yeah, we made it to the second round. So after first round, around 23 students made it to second round. Second round was code pair round. So for code
Just
pair round,
cut you short there. How many
yeah,
students were there for the first round? Do you have any idea?
yeah, I guess there were around 70 to 80 students.
Okay, out of which 20 went to the second round.
Yeah, 23.
Around 23. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Huh.
So for the code pair round, the company had invited us to their campus. So we had gone to company office, and what happens in code pair round is we were paired with one of the McKinsey employees, and
Mhm.
we were given a question to solve. So in this round, more than clearing the test cases and all, what they focused more was our approach to the particular problem, how we were trying to reach to the optimal solution, and whether we were writing clean code or not. So in this round, so I started writing variables like I, J, test, and also my mentor was like the guy who was with me was kind enough to tell me that don't use variables like that. So maybe you can also take care, like give appropriate variable names whenever you're coding your particular problem, so it increases readability and all. So this round was basically focused on our way of approaching the problem. So
Okay,
after
code
this,
pairing. So code pairing is mostly about how you write the code and not just let alone passing the test cases.
yeah.
I'll go back to the first round now. So in the first round, do you have any idea like how many test cases were required to get through to pass the first round?
I don't have any idea
Okay.
about that, but we had around, for each question, we had around 15 to 20 test cases.
And how many did you manage to pass, if you remember?
So I completed 2 questions thoroughly, like all the test cases I cleared, but for the third question, I couldn't get the approach only how to solve.
Okay,
So it just some 2 test cases were passed for the third question.
got it. Okay, we can go ahead with the third round. Yeah.
Yeah, so after code pair round, around 12, from our college, some 9 students cleared the code pair round.
Okay.
And so after that, we had our first technical interview round. So by the time we reached the technical interview round, already the COVID had started and we had to come back to our home. So it was basically virtual interview. So here, the interviewer started asking me about like about my project. So the project which I was currently working on, and not something that I already did. So he was asking me about the implementation of the project, and he asked me to draw a proper schema diagram and the database implementation of how you're going to do that. So I had to draw it on the paper and explain him why I'm doing what. And he also asked me a few questions related to scalability, like if many users come to this particular thing, how will you be scaling it? So yeah, so it was basically that. And after that he grilled me on DS and like not DS, sorry, computer networks and OS.
Mhm.
So that was basically fundamental questions. And after that he asked me a basic DS question, but since already our DS and algo skills were tested in the first two rounds, he didn't focus majorly on that. So it was basically project discussion and computer science fundamentals.
Okay, so
And
can I say that if you put something on your resume, make sure that you know it very well, because
yeah,
people are going to dive deep into what you've done already. And if you cannot justify yourself there, I think you will be caught. So don't unnecessarily put. So if you've taken some training on something, then make sure you put it on the resume only if you're skilled at it,
yeah.
just so that the interview does not go in that direction.
Yeah, that's
If
right.
you're not well versed, okay.
Yeah, so if you have any skill, they'll definitely ask you. So I had written React as a skill, but I was just a beginner. So he asked me quite a few questions on that. So only if you're like if you are beginner at a particular skill, just mention it in the brackets that you are a beginner in a particular field or whatever it is. And also like I had mentioned about Toastmasters in my resume, so he got very excited about that, and he asked me quite a few questions related to that as well. I guess if you have any interesting hobby or whatever you're doing, you mention it in your resume, so maybe it will spare you some of the difficult questions.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so this was your third round,
Yeah,
face-to-face interview. Okay.
yeah. So after this technical round, I had a very interesting round which I never came across. So it was the use case interview.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens in use case interview is we are given a particular business problem and a few data related to the particular problem. So we are supposed to do a bit of number crunching and analyze the problem and give a viable solution to that particular problem.
Mm-hmm.
So this was something very new to us, but McKinsey was kind enough to provide us training for this particular two rounds. So we already had a training session for this round. So also you can practice use case interviews. There are quite a few on the McKinsey official website as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
interesting.
yeah, so it was basically number crunching, profit loss, and things like that.
Okay. And how many people got through this round? Were there anyone who got rejected here?
I'm not sure about that because, like for each and every round, many cleared and many didn't. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not sure about how it was.
All right, all right. So after this,
So after the use case interview, my next interview was with the CTO of the company, and it was quite an interesting round. So he didn't basically ask me about basic fundamentals and all. It was a behavioral plus technical round. So he asked me basic general questions like he wanted to understand what my thought process was. So he was asking me about in the COVID situation how should colleges change their evaluation process because cheating is quite easy nowadays. He was asking me what you think should colleges do, what you think should companies do. So that was basically about behavior around. And for technical, he asked me very simple questions like what's the difference between abstract classes and interference and all.
mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Okay,
those were
okay. Was that it, or was there one more round after this?
yeah. So after this, I had my final round, which was with the director of the company. So that was also a behavioral round. So in that, it was just to check my culture fit. She asked me, "Why do you want McKinsey?" And like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And all such basic things. And also like, what troubles are you facing nowadays? How are you tackling it? And all. It was just that.
Okay,
It
okay.
was just a 15-minute conversation with her. That's all.
All right. And then when were you told that you have cleared all the rounds? Was it on the same day?
No, all these rounds were not on the same day. It was like there were 2 or 3 weeks gap between them. So finally, when I got to know that, okay, I made it to the company, it was May.
Okay,
So
got it in Feb sometime, and you got to
yeah,
know the results in May. Okay.
May. Yeah, but throughout the process, I was kept noted. Like the HR used to send us mails, whatever is the process, like what's happening at present. So yeah, so it wasn't like they ghosted us, but they used to keep us informed of what is happening.
Got it. I am also a Mackenzie alum, so I don't think much
Oh,
has changed. Yeah, okay. I also went through the similar process, I would say. Maybe they have
uh-huh.
introduced one additional round that is probably the
The
interaction
use
with
case.
TPO.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think it was pretty much the same for me as well in 2018. But all of
Mhm.
this happened in one single day for me. So it
Oh,
was
okay.
from morning 8 till night 10:30. But we got to know the results then and there. We were all
Mhm.
exhausted, no lunch, nothing. But yeah, quite an
Okay.
experience. So how did you prepare for your interviews and what was your strategy?
So when I decided that I want to sit for the campus placements, so I started in my third year vigorously practicing Lead Code, Hacker Rank, and Code Chef. So Code Chef basically offers you every month there are challenges given, which are of hard level, but you can at least solve two or three. So it's basically competitive coding. So you'll get it's not the normal DSA that you would be doing. So it will help you enhance your thought process. And in lead code, there is a wide range of questions, like from medium to different topic wise to hard. All those questions are available. So you can just practice it there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I did for. And I used to read the previous interview experiences of other students, like they would have given their do's and don'ts. So I just used to go through the articles.
And when exactly did you start preparing vigorously for this?
So it was from my third year. So 2 months past my third year, I started. I realized that okay, it's high time now. We should be doing so. Yeah,
Okay, so sometime in your fifth semester.
yeah, fifth semester.
Okay, okay. And what was your journey like at BMS? Like starting from first year, did you do something that set you apart, or did something that you did explicitly like help you with the interviews? Maybe if you have had some experiences.
All right. So when I joined BMS, when I was in my first year, I was a complete noob. Like I had no idea of any of the programming languages because even in my 12th standard, I had taken engineering drawing as my elective subject. So in my first year itself, like when I saw everyone being good at coding already, I started doing C++ and Python. So what I did was after doing C++ and Python in my first year, I joined as a teaching assistant in second year itself. So there I used to teach my peers and my juniors web development and Python. It was a class of 60. So when you're teaching someone, it automatically strengthens your basics.
Mm-hmm.
When you're like, you would have a clear idea of what's happening. But when you do it yourself, maybe you miss out on a few things which can be coped up here. And also, I used to join a lot of clubs like there's IEEE, then there's many other clubs like Toastmasters. I used to join there and I used to attend those meetings. So yeah, that's it. So and also like it's better if you already have along with DSA, if you have a development skills as well. Like everyone has basic data structures, algorithm skills already, but what people miss out on is the development skills. So go for hackathons. So I had attended LinkedIn hackathon when I was in my third year, and it was one hell of a experience. So we sat for full 24 hours and we coded our project there. So it was quite interesting. So if you have a development edge as well, so it definitely helps in the interview process. So it sets you apart from all the other candidates.
Yes,
So, yeah.
correct. So are there any internships that are offered like not on campus, but you can apply online and get to, did you do any of those?
Yeah, so I had done for Google. So I had interviewed with Google. So it was basically, I went till my third round, so the third telephonic round.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can do is you can go to Google's career page. So there would be something called software development fresh hiring. So you can just register for the particular thing. And so the first round would be coding round, which is quite tough. So so yeah, if you clear the coding round, then there will be a telephonic round. Then there will be face-to-face two interviews. So I went till the fourth round, and then I got rejected there.
Okay.
But yeah, like having an experience interviewing with that helps also.
And when was this?
So this was like last year, like in 2019, I did that. Not 2019, it was 2020. Yeah, 2020. I think 3 or 4 months back.
Okay, so you were already in your third year.
Yeah, I was in my
That's
third year.
basically in your third year is when
Yeah,
you
third year.
switched.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Did you do any mock interviews or something? Did you take help from your friends? for interviews? Like, how did you prepare for interviews?
So yeah, I'm a host, like, so what we used to do is with my roommates with themselves, like we used to sit and we used to interview each other. So when you are interviewing, like when you are in the interviewer seat, you understand like what works well, what doesn't, and also it helps you like just preparing and then conveying your thoughts are completely different. Like you need to make the interviewer understand what are your assumptions, what is your thought process along the way. You need to think loud, like you can't just be thinking in your mind, but you need to make them understand what is your thought process like. So for that, mock interviews help you a lot. So I used to do this with my friends, and there are sites like Interview Bit and Pramp.
Hmm.
Pramp also offers you like this mock interviews. So there would be students who are preparing for their interviews, they'll only be interviewing you. So it's like you interview someone, someone will interview you. So you also understand their thought process, and it gives you a new insight, like how to your thinking as well. So mock interviews definitely helped me a lot throughout.
Got it. So, do you think building upon communication skills is an important part of the preparation? How vital is your communication when it comes to interviews?
Yeah, so being able to communicate your thoughts clearly is extremely important, and to ensure the interviewer understands how you arrived at your conclusion, how you arrived at your particular approach and your underlying assumptions is very important. So when I had come to Bangalore, so I stay in Gujarat. So here we don't usually, our basic primary language of communication is not usually English. We used to talk with each other in Hindi. So when you all of a sudden come there, so what helped me was I joined Toastmasters. So Toastmasters is an organization to build upon your public speaking, your communication skills, personality development, and all that. So when I was in my second year, I joined that, and it has been like one of the most helpful resources that I had like joined through. So yeah,
Mhm.
so communication is very important. Like DSA, everyone knows, development skills also everyone knows, but able to convey your thoughts is really important. So yeah,
Yes.
so we can read books, listen to podcasts, uh, join Toastmasters. So all this helps.
Yes, I think this was very helpful. Any final general tips that you would like to give? Or I think you've covered most of it. I think you were very elaborate and you were very clear on what you wanted to convey. I see that your communication skills are very nice.
So, but yeah, like when I was in my second year, we weren't aware of things like there's something called Google Women in Tech scholarships. Then there is Adobe Women in Tech scholarships, and also Google offers STEP internship for second years and third years. So we weren't aware of all these things. So if you already have a good a grasp on the DSA, you can go for all these things, and the guidance and mentorship that you get throughout the process here is like amazing. And also they sponsor your college fees, so all this would be like damn good. So you can register for the same, like for second years and third years.
Okay, okay. I think this was very helpful. Thank you, Anjali, for joining me. I'm sure this will be very helpful to the students who are listening to this.
Thank you, Nidhi, for having me. It was my pleasure. Bye
Thank
bye.